guys, and welcome to my next video in Doctor Who December. So, funny thing about this video, this video was supposed to be a part of last Doctor Who December. It was an idea I thought of that I thought would be such a fun top 10 countdown-y type of video. And then as last Doctor Who December, I feel like I'm slightly more prepared for Doctor Who December this year, though I think I'm still going to be kind of working myself to the bone, especially towards the end. But last year, it was kind of towards the end, and I was filming so many videos and editing so many videos, getting all these videos out, and I never sat down to make the list. And I was like, oh, I have to record it today. And I'm like a pretty neurotic person when I make these lists. I make sure I go through everything, and I make sure I get, I can't just randomly come up with 10 characters or anything like that. And I just couldn't do it. I'm like, I have no time. I had absolutely no time to even get it done. So I think I replaced it with, it was the trailers or the cinema intros, if you guys remember that. It was that for Day of the Doctor that I watched after Day of the Doctor. Anyway, that video, if it seemed like, I don't know, not the best, I think it was still a decent video and stuff, but it was one of those that I was like, oh, I need a replacement something, oh God. And, because I just didn't have time to make this. So I wanted to make sure that this was definitely a video in this Doctor Who December, and I did have the time to make it up. So I actually decided to include 12 instead of 10 because I just found 12 that I thought were worth mentioning. I think some are going to be a fairly general consensus that a lot of people like these characters, and some of them might be a little bit of a surprise or a shocker to you guys. So anyway, so for those of you who want to know what this video is about, it's basically the top 12 characters that I think would make decent companions that were from, just one single story. Now that story might be a two-parter, but it's a single story. That's why I had to say single story and not single episode. And there was a couple of people that sadly didn't make the cut just because they were in a couple of episodes, but I tried to be as strict to the rules as possible. It helped me kind of narrow down the list, to be honest. Number 12 on this list is actually going to be one that I think is the most random out of all of them. But I so distinctly remember this. And it is John Jefferson. Do you guys know who that is? I don't know. It may not ring a bell for some people, but he is from the Impossible Planet in Satan Pit. I remember so strongly how much I liked his character, and though I don't know what kind of companion he would make, and he didn't entirely make it, but I loved, he was kind of a hard ass, and he was kind of somebody who was sort of just laying down reality, and I really grew a very strong connection to his character. And then he sacrificed himself, and I was so upset about that, and I was like, what the hell is this? And I just felt the need, I had to include him on the list because I just felt like, you know what? I really did like him for the short amount of time that he was on screen. Probably wouldn't make the best companion, but I'm gonna include him anyway. Number 11 on this list is Nancy from The Empty Child and the Doctor Dances two-parter. This episode, I feel like grew on me more and more as time went on. I talked about that last year in my Doctor Who December. But what I love was the strength of Nancy. And I feel like she's one of those characters that I wish we could have seen more of. And I really, really think that she could still have a lot of development and a lot of story to tell. And I think she would make a great companion. Number 10 on this list is Rita from the God Complex. Now, I think that Rita really proved herself to being like a pretty good companion right off the bat, and it was all kind of really tragic in the end for her. But I really thought that, you know, 11 was really entranced with her, and she was really, really smart, and she kind of feels like that type of companion that really wouldn't have to depend on the doctor too much, but would have been a solid partner for him. Maybe similar to Martha in a lot of ways, and I think that she would be great. Number 9 on this list, and I hope I'm going to say it right, is Tricky Von Balen? Is that the way to say it? From Journey into the Center of the TARDIS. I know a lot of people don't like this episode, but part of the reason that I kind of enjoy this episode is the fact that I liked this story with the brothers, but particularly Tricky. I feel like he was always kind of on the doctor's side. He was understanding things. He was being sympathetic, and I think he would be a great addition to the TARDIS team. Number 8 on this list. Oh Lord, you guys are gonna roast me alive, and I don't care. Oh no. It's Elton Pope from Love and Monsters. I found him hilarious, and I know that so many of you hate Love and Monsters, and you think I'm crazy because I didn't hate it. It wasn't my favorite thing in the world of season 2, but I didn't despise it, and part of that, a very big reason of that, was because I felt Elton to be so hilarious, and it gave me kind of vibes of like Storyteller from Buffy, if any of you guys have seen it, which is like one of my favorite Buffy episodes ever. So I think I love the vibe of it. I love the comedy of it, and I would love to see more Elton, even though I'm sure none of you agree. Number 7 on this list is Shauna from Last Christmas. I loved her. I thought she was a good time. I loved her like dancing scene. I was all about it. Within a very short amount of time, I was like just enthralled with her. I love her, and I would love to see her again. And I feel like she's maybe one of the few people that we might actually see. I don't know, I'm probably not, but I really liked her performance. She really came a long way, the actress, from, you know, who she was in Game of Thrones and everything like that. I just absolutely think that she was funny, but sweet, and realistically scared of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I think she was a good time, and I was a very, very big fan. Number 6 on this list is Joan Redfern from Human Nature, Family of Blood, 2-parter. Now, I feel like it could have been kind of complicated, but it's for her as a companion. But for me, there's just something so very beautiful. And this was, I believe, I want to say this was kind of the first episode that really got to me very strongly in Doctor Who. When it comes to kind of like getting hit with the feels. I believe that it was like the first one that really did. And the majority of that was because of her relationship with the Doctor. So I think I would be kicking myself if I didn't include her on this list. Number 5 on this list is Adelaide Brooks. So, I mean, obviously, I feel like she's like one of the very legendary single story characters that people, I mean, maybe they don't love her, but I felt like she was really trying to do everything she could to save her people. I just wish we got to see more. Obviously, it's weird to have this list and some of these characters, you know, didn't make it, but we're just gonna pretend that we can, you know, rewrite the laws of time. And I think that it's not a weird thing to pretend regarding with Doctor Who, you know, and everything. But I felt like she was a very strong character. She was a great match for 10. Their chemistry was off the chain. Such a great character that we really would have been nice to see a lot more of. Number 4 on this list is, I feel like, another very legendary, like if you ask like a random Doctor Who fan the single story character they would like to see as a companion, a lot of them would say this, I think, and that is Sally Sparrow. Blink is iconic in my opinion, and maybe you don't agree, but in my opinion, Blink is iconic, and a lot of that is due to Sally. And I mean, it was kind of such a great story that she held on her own with some other characters as well, but a lot she held on her own, and I just adored what she was able to do with such a short episode. I fell like madly in love with her character, and I would love to see her as a companion. Number 3 on this list is Jackson Lake. Yes, listen, I know that's a weird pick, but I mean, who doesn't want more David Morrissey? He's a great actor. I think he could do a lot, but I love The Next Doctor, and I've said this so many times, and I think I'm the only one, but I really like that episode, and I just really enjoyed Jackson Lake's character and everything that was going on. I would love to see more of him and love to see him grow as a character, because even within one episode I felt like he grew so much, and I feel like there could have been more and more. I really love his character. Maybe I'm a little biased because I love David Morrissey, but I do just genuinely really love that episode, and I really love his character, and I would love to see him be a companion. Number 2 on this list, which weirdly this wasn't characters that I was like thought of right away. You know, whenever I think of that I'm going to be making these lists, I say, oh well, who do I think is going to be number 1 and whatever, and like they didn't even cross my mind, but they should have. And as soon as I got, because I was going through all the episodes, as soon as I got to this episode, I was like, oh my god, yes, the 2 of them would be great. And I grouped them together because I can do that. And that is Grant Gordon and Lucie Fletcher from The Return of Dr. Mysterio. And I love that episode so much. I have a love for it, a very deep love for it. And I just adore those 2 and the dynamic and how kind of quirky they were. And if they became 12's companion, no shade to Bill and Nardo, you know I love them. I'm not saying that in place of them, but if they became 12's companions, I would have been very happy with that. I would have loved for him to return to see them again or something like that. I feel like they could do a lot with the relationship dynamic, but also building a relationship with 12. I don't know. I love them to pieces. And number 1 on this list, guys, I knew who my number 1 was gonna be before I even started sitting down and making this list. I was like, well, we're all just gonna find out who's second best on my list. Ever since I saw this story, saw this episode, I was like, I want this man to be a companion. Join the team, join the team. Like I even say it in the reaction. I was so, do you guys know? Let me know if any of you guessed it already. Did anybody guess it? Maybe, just a little bit. It is Canton Everett Delaware III. Yes, I love the actor. He's amazing. He was on Firefly, he was on Battlestar Galactica, 2 of my favorite shows of all time. And yeah, he's just phenomenal. And I loved him in that 2-parter. I just absolutely think that he was such a great addition to the team. I don't know. Oh God, I cannot express how much I was like, get him to be a regular in season 6, whatever. We can have a really large TARDIS team. Who cares? Like, I was so here for it, and I love him. Oh my God. he's the best. I think he's the best. And I'm just very, very happy with kind of what they were able to do with his character in such a short amount of time. He really kind of was no nonsense, but he was also kind of believing Eleven and everything and working with them. And there was just something very lovely about his character that I adored and I wanted more of. At the end of that two-parter, I was like, okay, when do we get to see him again? The answer to you, Jess, is never. So yeah, he's my top pick. It's probably might be a weird pick for you for my number one, but he's my number one of who I would love to, at least for a Christmas special, right? Just give it like a little, like maybe. Let me know if any of you agree with me that you would love to see more of his character. But yeah, anyway, I hope that you guys liked this video and let me know who your picks would be down below. And I just thought that this was a really kind of fun idea and something that people can kind of think about, and you know, what were the kind of single story characters that really had an effect on you, like these characters had an effect on me. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.